I think we should talk to each other.
Yeah, talk to each other, look at each other, and then like you can have your moments when you look at the because every time there's a podcast, actually, they don't look at the camera, do they?
Because I feel like this is really intense. If I'm like, so what's your next question?
Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode on the Confessions About My Body podcast. I'm here joined today with Molly Ava Fit. She has gone from years of restricting, struggling with body dysmorphia, struggling with her body, to finally living in alignment, and she preaches all about body positivity, health, lifestyle. So we're really going to be going into her story, talking more about how she overcame it, where she's at now today, and I hope that this episode leaves you with a bit of inspiration, makes you feel good, makes you feel empowered, because we both feel like women should feel empowered in the gym, like health-wise. Like, you do not need to be skinny in order to be healthy, and we both kind of share a similar message. So I'm really excited to interview you today. So let's get into it.
Interview. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I first want to dive deep into your fitness journey and when it all started. So what time did it start, like struggling with your body, like all those struggles? When did they start turning up?
Do you know what? It's so sad, but like I think so many women can probably relate to this, but like I find it hard to remember a time, like especially in my teenage years, where I wasn't struggling with my body in some way, shape or form. I come from like a dance background. That's what I've always loved. Yeah. So I used to do lots of street dance. I used to do ballet, although I was really rubbish at it, but I just liked it.
That makes so much sense, because she put a video up on her Instagram with her dancing and it was so good. I was like, girl, this is her first dance class?
No, I used to teach dance. That was my job for a while.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think like growing up and then always being around people in like tight clothing, or you know, being aware of how my body was moving or what it was looking like. I think I was always kind of aware. You know, I very much remember, like in sixth form, I was probably 17. Like I would like throw away my lunch, and then I would binge on like a packet of chocolate buttons instead, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Just like, I was like, oh, if I don't have this, I can have this. And it was always that really restrictive mindset. But I think that the major turning point for me was going to university.
Okay.
And when I went to uni, I can cook. Like I used to cook at home, but I'm very lazy. Like I'll tell you all for free. I'm lazy. I'm a lazy ass cook. Okay. So I was living off like microwave macaroni cheese, like cheap bottles of wine.
Yeah, the Tesco deal.
Yeah, plenty of binge drinking, and I gained loads of weight really fast. And I was like, what the fuck is? Can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear. You're allowed to swear.
What the fuck is happening to me? I was like, what is happening to me? I gained loads of weight really fast, and I was in like such panic mode, and I had done like detoxes, you know, when you drink tea.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my goodness me, and then you shit yourself for like days.
Yeah,
not a vibe.
The laxatives.
Yeah, and I tried all these things. I bought like fat burning pills, and it was like this case of like this desperate need for like this instant change, which I think is what everybody's looking for, but obviously like isn't realistic. So I think that for me was really like a bit of a rock bottom. My mental health wasn't very good, and I think I'd kind of lost that ability to take care of myself, because I just got myself stuck in such a rut of feeling sad, feeling sorry for myself, and then being like, woe is me, why is this happening to me, why can't I do anything to change it?
Yeah, I completely relate to like the binging and restricting. So I feel like I was literally in the same position at some point, and I feel like I would go days without eating and then just binge on everything. Yeah. And then I would want a quick fix, so then I would go on a diet, or any fat diet. I'll be like, okay, what's the quickest way I can lose like abs? How can I get abs in 30 days?
Oh my god, you know? Yeah. How many ab workouts can I do a day? Yeah.
And I can
literally.
I've never been to uni, but I can completely imagine how much of like you can get sucked into that drinking culture as well.
Enormously. Like, and then every week, like there's something on all the time. Like I used to be part of like a dance society, so like every Wednesday you'd go out with dance, and every Saturday you go out with your friends, and then you're spending like 3 days of your week hungover, and then you're eating crap, and then you're going, oh my gosh, and then you're just starting that cycle all over again.
Yeah, and I feel like in uni as well, it's like you want to be that person that does those things, and you almost want to fit in, so you're following what everyone's doing.
Yeah, you want to make friends. Like that's how you make friends. You go join societies, you go out and you do fun things, and you socialize. And yeah, that was like that really, to me, like that was like my only option. I was like, this is how I meet people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally. Yeah. And what was the point for you? So obviously in uni, is that when you kind of started? Did you have like a shift that was like, shit, like this is my rock bottom now. Like what I'm doing is not healthy.
Yeah, so I think that I spent a whole year probably at uni in this cycle of like going to the gym and like doing an incline walk for like 3 hours, and then taking a picture of how many calories I'd burnt on it and being like, oh my promise me I burnt 500 calories on an incline walk. I'm amazing. And then I'd go and get drunk, and then I wouldn't do anything for like 2 weeks, and I'd be like, I'm going to start all over again.
Yeah.
And I did that for about a year. Like, honestly, like I was in that all or nothing mindset for a whole year, just constantly. And then I was like, I can't make change. It's the classic, isn't it? I can't do this. I'm incapable of doing this. And like the words you speak build the house that you live in. So like, if you tell yourself you can't do something, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, preach.
And I think it was like a January, and I tried to do a whole new year, new me, and it was like February, and I still hadn't done anything. And I was like, I actually need to commit to making this change. Like, I think we'd gone, me and my sister and my friend had gone to a 1975 concert, and I remember waking up the next morning and just looking in the mirror and just being like, I just don't recognize who you are anymore. Like, you are grey. Like, I just looked grey and unwell, and like I wasn't taking care of myself. And I remember writing, I had this little like fitness journal that I'd made for myself. I'd never written anything in. At this point, it was empty.
It was every new year.
Yeah,
starting.
literally 2021, 2020, you know what I mean?
Just the date.
Literally, yeah, she tried once again. And I just remember writing in it like, this something needs to change.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was that like what switched in my brain, but it really was like a light switch went off, and I certainly wasn't perfect, you know, for a long time. I mean, I'm not, perfection doesn't exist. Like, you're going to set yourself up sabotage with that, but I definitely wasn't quite unquote perfect for a really long time, but I was better. Like, I was doing better, and I was being more consistent, and I was working on the small things that make me feel good. Like, instead of getting a taxi to class, like I could just walk there. It was 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And like, even the other habits that I had, like drinking as much, like socially smoking and things like that, I was like, if I can just make the small changes to make these lesser, it's going to make the big changes. Like, adds all the small steps add up to the big leaps. And I think that I'd so been focused on the everything needs to be amazing straight away. Yeah. Mindset. You
need the results now. Yeah. You need to be 100%.
And if in 2 days I don't look like I want to look, like what's the point? And I just had lost any concept of the fact that things needed to take time. And I think that we live in a society, this is a tangent, but we live in a society where we're so used to instant gratification. And I talk to my clients about this all the time. If you go on Amazon, and you're looking to buy something, I always filter for Amazon Prime. Do I need that hair clip tomorrow? No, girl, I do not need that hair clip tomorrow.
But we're like, I need it Prime.
Yeah, I'm like, why? But I have Prime, so like, why wouldn't I have it tomorrow? And it's like, we're so used to... Do you know what I mean? Like, I just came on a scooter here, and it came within 30 seconds.
I know.
I was like, this is insane. Like, and you can have everything pretty much at the snap of your fingers. You can order clothes to your house, same day delivery.
It's insane.
So then we're so unused to having to wait for things. And I think that's what I'd really struggled with, like growing up, and so much of that being built, you know, that infrastructure of having everything at your fingertips all the time.
It's like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'd lost that patience. So yeah, that for me was really the like, get your head out your ass. Sort yourself out.
Okay. For example, like, how did those behaviors that you were struggling with, you know, like the binging, the constantly like kind of letting yourself down, feed into you, like into your mindset? Like, how did that make you feel?
I think that
like your mental health.
Yeah. So on my mental health was awful. I've struggled with like panic attacks and I'd say anxiety for a long time. And they were at their absolute worst then. Like, I was so anxious. I remember like literally not even like wanting to go and buy things in shops. Like, I didn't like the social interaction, talking to someone at a till. I was like, but I was just so unconfident. Like, I just felt like I was so lost. And like I said before, like in that mindset of feeling like I had trapped myself, but I felt so powerless to get out of it. So I think that for me was the most difficult. And, you know, having been on this journey for 6.5 years now, I think, and been working on that. Like, every year I'm more confident, and I always surprise myself. Like, every year my mental health is better. Every year I'm more me again. So yeah, I think that the more me I feel, the more like perspective it gives me on how shit I felt then.
And I feel like for you at that point as well, when you were struggling with the binge and when you're trying to lose weight, did you feel like you had to be really small as well? Because that's how I felt. Like, I felt like I was constantly chasing skinny to be confident. And to be healthy.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. I used to weigh myself 3 times a day. After breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'd honestly weigh myself 3 times a day, maybe even more sometimes. And whatever that number said would dictate how I then felt for the next few hours.
And it's so crazy how we deem these habits as healthy. Because I used to think I'm being healthy. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm checking my weight every.
I'm just trying to be a better me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a better me. Like, I'm not eating enough calories because it's healthy. You know, like I used to think all this stuff, but it's just like, it's such unhealthy habits that we make healthy in our head. We're like, oh yeah, this is just me being
you're
being a gym girl.
justifying it. You're justifying it to yourself because you're like, this must be what everybody's doing. Like, this is how they achieve it. So like, I just need to do the same.
Need to do the same. So did you ever feel addicted to shrinking and getting smaller and smaller?
Yeah. Oh my God. I was, like I said, weighing myself unbelievable amounts. Like, I was so obsessed with, and like having clothes from when I was smaller, I was so obsessed with how I looked in those clothes.
Yeah.
And like how they fit me. I remember I had this pink score, and there's probably a picture on my Instagram of me somewhere.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen it in like your transformation videos.
And I was like 18 when I first got it when I was going to uni.
Yeah.
And I felt like I looked really amazing in it. And then I remember like 2 years later, it was like didn't fit anymore. I couldn't get it up.
Yeah.
And I held on to that skirt honestly probably until about 2 years ago. Found it at the back of my cupboard, but I'd held on to it for so long as this like goal that I wanted to fit into. And I was like, this is the version of me. And I'm like, you're literally 18 years old. Like, there's no way you're gonna like your body's so different now. But I was obsessed with wanting to get back into this one skirt, and I was totally addicted to shrinking myself because I think that as women, like, we're made to feel like the only goal that is worth having is to be chasing something that's smaller. And like, that's all you ever see, like, and you hear, it's all you ever hear on like TV show. Like, when is there going to be a movie made about a woman who's like, I don't know, doing a bulk and living her best life?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You just don't see that. Do you know what I mean?
I would love to see that.
Is there any movie directors out there? Because I've got a pitch for you.
Yeah. I want to be counted in this.
Yeah, we'll be the main cast. We'll write it.
We'll write the story. We'll act it even.
Yeah, I've got it all covered. I've got GCSE in drama, so that's me sorted.
That's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I feel it's literally the same thing. Like, our social media from like being really young is just fully covered with being smaller constantly.
Yeah.
Like, chasing smaller, being smaller, and it's almost like, it's even like sometimes like even my grandma would say to me, like, no, she didn't mean it in a bad way, that's how she grew up as well, but it's like, oh well, if you gain weight, no one's gonna love you, you're not gonna get a boyfriend, you know. Men are already conditioned to that at that age, you know, like they already think a woman has to look this way, like she has to have a flat stomach, because that's what I feel like is being perceived in men as well.
Yeah, oh my God, the expectations are insane. And I don't know if you find this, but like, if my content ends up on the unfortunate side of the internet where I don't want it to be, there's all these entitled men who aren't in shape themselves.
I know.
And who are like, honestly, like horrible, heinous things that they're typing
and they're
in the comments.
holding like a big ass fish in the DP, and they're like, oh, I caught this fish today.
I'm like, John, I don't care what your catch of the day is. Like, please.
And they're always like, oh, you look better before, or you look like I'm posting that for you.
Oh my God, for me, it's always like, don't normalize being fat. And I'm like,
oh my
what?
God, yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Imagine just being a healthy person who likes eating pasta.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I had a video that went viral, and it was about, I said my body type is the type of body that goes to the gym but also says yes to cake.
Amazing.
And the men in the comments were like, you're promoting obesity, you're doing this, you're doing that, like, you're fat, you're this. And I was like, thank God I have a thick skin, because like, that doesn't affect me. Like, I look at their profile and I'm like, please, go to I can probably lift you at the gym.
Yes.
You
oh
know?
my gosh, if I can deadlift you, you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't be horrible
to
me.
Amazing. So you had your turning point. What were the first changes you started making towards like becoming more healthier, like healing your relationship with yourself, with your body? Like, what was the first things you noticed, like, right, I need to start working on all of these because clearly it's not working? What I was doing in the past?
I think that the main thing was like, I had to step out of this perfectionism mindset. I think that I was worried that I kept failing at something, and what it was doing was creating more evidence for me that I wasn't successful.
Yeah.
When that's not true, because I wasn't really trying. Like, I convinced myself that I was trying, but I wasn't. And the second that there was some sort of setback for me, I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Flip the table. Everything's gone wrong. So the first thing for me was building like a solution-focused mindset to setbacks. Instead of seeing as something that had then gone horribly wrong and I couldn't recover from, it was like, what is in my control right now? Yes, I might be a bit hungover. What, can I go for a walk? Can I do something? How can I still take care of myself? And I think the real building blocks were literally just moving more, like going for a walk. Like, you don't need to be in the gym every day. Like, this is what I got in my head. Like, I need to go to the gym 7 days a week. I need to be doing that. And it's not true. Like, just walking a bit more, walking to work, walking to my classes and doing things like that. Getting in the gym, even if it's once a week, and like, that's okay. And like, knowing, like, being grateful and being proud of myself for the privilege to be able to move my body, because like, again, that inner narrative is so key. And just doing small things to take better care with my food, like cooking more home cooked meals, like making time and space for that. I think, you know, a university, the living quarters aren't the most
Yeah.
glorious. And my kitchen was always a mess. And instead of bothering to tidy and clean up and cook, I would just order something, or I'd just go somewhere and get it easy. But I was like, I just need to find more time, and I just need to dedicate more time to that. So I think those were kind of the 3 things that really started making a difference for me.
Yeah. It's amazing to see that you've like completely changed your mind and you were like, shit, like this is not working. Clearly, like the diet's not working.
Yeah.
I need to find the easier way and something that I can build up on. Because I feel like every single woman is stuck in that mentality of like, I need to be perfect, and then they're not perfect and they beat themselves up for it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you continue to feed that negative mindset in your in yourself. Like if you start to believe you're not capable, because every time you try to do 100%, which not like you can't just flip your life 360 and become an athlete overnight.
Nope.
And like meal
We'd
prep.
all do it. Like everyone would do it.
Everyone would be an athlete, you know. But yeah, like you can't just like completely change like that overnight. And I think a lot of women struggle with that, and I think it's so nice that you were able to kind of be like, shit, like that's not working, let me find something that works. And I feel like that's what you're also teaching your clients now, which is really beautiful.
So true. I think that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And that's like, you know, it's still, people still do that all the time. And I think it's really, really hard to break out of, because you're like, oh, but what if it works this time? But it's not going to. Like, I've proved to myself for so long that it wasn't going to work. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I think, you know, you've definitely been through similar, you know, you've really changed that mindset. And I think that that's why, you know, I talk about mindset so much, because it's so powerful. Like, your perspective is your superpower, and I think people really forget that.
Yeah, and I think as well, when it comes to a fitness journey, people think, I just need to eat better, move. I need to just do these things. But I think if you don't have the right mindset, you're not gonna make it, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, mindset is the absolute
it's the biggest
bare
thing.
minimum roadblock you've got to overcome.
And I feel like people are just like, I just need the training plan and I need a food plan. That's all. That's all they want. And I'm like, no, there's something deeper there. Like there's things you are needing to work on with your mindset that will help you get there. Because once you have that mindset locked in, you're good to go.
100%. You can really, you know, I said about flipping that switch and like changing the way that I approach things. If you've got a really solid mindset, you can flip switch whenever you want. Like I can be completely relaxed and then completely dialed in. Like I can change that and work and manipulate that, and that makes my journey so much easier, and it makes new goals exciting rather than scary, and it makes you know, when situations arise that I find things difficult, I'm like, what can I learn from this? Not, oh my god, how am I going to handle this?
And I think it's nice because you've been in that place where you were like, how, like, I can't do with this hurdle, I'm just gonna quit, you know.
I'm gonna give up.
I feel like now you're learning like to jump the hurdle.
Yes, I love that analogy.
little analogy. Okay, so going into your healing process, what would you say was the hardest thing when you tried to start rebuilding your relationship with food? Because I think mindset is a really big thing, but I also feel like the thing that people struggle with the most is food. And it's like, I feel like everyone can get themselves in the gym every now and then, but the food is what really puts them down, makes them feel really bad, like struggling with, when you had an unhealthy relationship with food like you did, with binging and restricting, what would you say you did to kind of help that?
I think that initially it was really difficult for me, because I had very much the whole labels in my head of like, this is good, this is bad, this is what I can have, this is what I can't have. And, you know, if I ever want to achieve my goals, this is the pool of things that I can no longer eat. And that was something that really then kept me for ages stuck in that, you know, kind of cycle. I think the most important thing was education. Around food. I think that you're so right in the sense that a lot of people are like, if I just had a meal plan to follow, if I just knew exactly what I needed to do, and like everything is going to work. But it's like, yes, you need the mindset, but if you don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, how do you ever plan to balance anything on your own? And I think that despite the fact I was doing a geography degree, which I'm now in loads of debt for no reason. Everyone go to university. It's go to university. I think that I ended up getting so much more interested in actually learning more about my foods, like reading the labels, understanding what was going on in it, and then also realizing that the foods that I was deeming as bad, like pasta or whatever, I can just have as part of a balanced diet. And it was introducing those foods in a way that felt really safe for me and comfortable for me that I think really helped me rebuild that relationship that I'd really lost with my food. Because I love eating, right? I love, like, food is my whole life. I can eat all day.
And I feel like every time someone struggles with their relationship with food from the past, they absolutely love food. Because I used to love food, and then at some point it became the enemy for me. Like it was like kind of a switch. It was like I hated my body. Food is the enemy. That was like the way I saw it, because I feel like, again, that's what society shows. Like, whenever someone gains weight, it's not, oh, you've not been to the gym. It's always like, you're eating too much.
You're eating too many carbs.
You're doing that,
fat makes you fat.
Exactly.
Fat makes you fat. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Oh God, those words. I really, if something gives me the ick, is that.
I know, that's what we grew up on though, like that is what we grew up on. And like, you know, watching family members or friends' parents like do things like Weight Watchers or like the Atkins diet or all this sort of stuff, and it just perpetuates this mindset of like, these are all the things that aren't good for you. And it's learnt behavior, right? Because it's something that you see and then you copy. So those are then all the assumptions that I made, that I couldn't have any of the foods I loved anymore. So then I was like, this is so miserable. Why is anybody trying to better themselves when you can't eat pasta? Because I eat pasta at least once a day every day, like as a minimum, sometimes 2 meals a day. Genuinely.
I love pasta.
Yeah, same. Normally lunch and dinner I have pasta.
I love that for you.
It's my carbohydrate of choice. And yeah, I had to teach myself that I could have fun with these foods and still enjoy them, and I eat chocolate every day. I always say to my clients, I eat chocolate every day.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like when I was trying to lose weight because I had enough relationship with food, I thought I can't eat chocolate. Like that's a bad food.
Yeah, that's awful. Why did you ever do that?
Yeah. So it's nice to see that you're actually able to do these things and like take yourself out from like an unhealthy mindset with food and seeing food as good and bad to now being like, fuck, I've had 2 bowls of pasta. Like old me would scream if I had 2 bowls of pasta. You know?
I'd be so upset.
I'd be like, oh my God, I've ruined everything. I might as well quit. And
I need to have a salad.
Yeah. I know, to balance it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and what was the hardest mindset shift that you had to make?
I think the standard of perfection that I had for myself was the biggest thing to shift. Yeah. I went to like quite a competitive secondary school. It was an all-girls school. It was like a grammar school, so there was like a really high standard. Like I was always taught that I had to always be chasing the A star, the 100%, the next big amazing thing. And it was like anything that fell short of that wasn't good enough. And that's probably something that I created for myself as well. Again, like being in dance, like it's quite competitive.
I can imagine.
And all of that. So I think that all then piled on top, and I then created this limiting belief for myself that anything that wasn't perfect wasn't good enough. So I think having to really step back and understand why I felt like that, and then trying to rewrite that narrative to understanding that actually perfectionism isn't real. It's never real. It's a standard that you create for yourself. And someone else's view of perfection is completely different. So even if you're saying this is what perfection is, it's like, that's not true. That's just what you think. But you can change that and you can rewrite that. And like, actually my perfection to me is like, if I have like 70% good across the week, like if I've done majority of my sessions, like that's amazing. You know, there's always gonna be weeks where I don't hit that, and you give yourself grace for that anyway.
Giving yourself grace is so important.
But like having this wiggle room, and like, if for something to be sustainable and that you're going to keep doing long term, you've got to be flexible with it. If you are constantly rigid, it's not sustainable. So I think, kind of rebuilding on that was definitely the biggest mindset shift that like has helped me not only keep going, but like has made me so successful, I think, in all the goals that I take on.
She's really successful, guys. Please.
I'm gonna blush.
We have a very successful girl in the house. Definitely relate to that, because with my bodybuilding background, it was the same thing, perfectionism, like getting each meal in, and like I had to really refresh what perfectionist meant. And I think that's amazing that you've done it as well. And I think a lot of people and a lot of the listeners struggle with the perfectionist mindset, because I have noticed in a lot of my clients and a lot of girls that I speak to that had an eating disorder or disordered eating or body dysmorphia struggle with the perfectionist mindset. Because like you want your body to be perfect, you want it to fit the standard. But then the standard changes, you know, it's like, oh, skinny, and then skinny's not in there more, now skinny's back, and you're like, fuck, like, if you're a perfectionist mindset, you're like, geez, I need to keep switching through these. But your body is not a trend. No, so you shouldn't.
It's not seasonal, it's not a trend, it's your vessel for life.
It is your vessel. How did your body image start to shift when you started making those changes?
I think that, like, and I always see, I'm sure you see this with clients as well, like, after a few weeks of coaching, people start to say, oh, I actually feel so much better in myself. Not because your body has drastically changed in 21 days, but because you're actually taking care of yourself. And like that feels really good because you're doing something for you. And I think that especially as women, we give a lot. Like I give a lot, you know, I'm a giver. I take care of people. Like I like to provide, I like to help, I like to support. And I think that then sometimes we don't have very much space left for ourselves. So I think that it's then when you reclaim some of that for you, and you start filling your own cup more, and you're doing things and you're realizing, oh, actually I feel really good after doing that, or that meal was really delicious and it's left me feeling really fueled, or, you know, I have amazing endorphins after that gym session and I got a PB. you start to change the way that you think about yourself and the way that you're approaching your life. Like, I always say that my primary goal for anyone is to help you live a lifestyle that you love. Like, I want you to wake up every day and think, fucking hell, I get to do this. Like, I'm so grateful. And I think that's so important. And I think that shift happens subconsciously. I don't think you even realize. So I think once you've done those initial changes and those initial habits, then it's about the inner voice. For me, I had to really change the way that I spoke to myself. Like, if you are looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I am this, I am that, you know, and it's all negative, guess what? You're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel that. You are gonna feel that. And I think that even if it's a little bit fake it till you make it, doing things like speaking positively about yourself. Another one is accepting compliments.
How many times do you not accept compliments? You're like, oh, like someone says, I like your t-shirt, and you're like, oh, thanks, it was just £5, or you know, like you just kind of
nice. Oh no, I'm so
you
tired.
just brush it off.
I look
you
so
know,
tired.
You're like, oh yeah, it's the makeup or something.
Oh my god, always. I used to always say that. Oh, you look so nice. Oh yeah, it's because I got makeup on.
It's because I got makeup on.
No, it's because I'm beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
No, accept it. I always say to people, accept the compliment. Say I feel it. Someone's like, you look amazing. Thank you. I feel it.
Yeah, you should feel it.
Yeah, and then pass it back. Give them a compliment back. Because guess what? If you start accepting compliments, people are more likely to give them to you.
Yeah.
If you say, oh no, that person's going to think, oh, okay, like, no worries. Like,
okay.
You get out what you put in. So, like, compliment people back and create that environment. And I think that it changes massively the way that you feel about yourself.
I also feel like, on the topic of compliments, I also feel like when you wear colour, people approach you more. Like,
so
when you came, I was like, oh my God, you're glowing because you're wearing such cute colours. But, like, whenever I wear coloured stuff, not today, clearly.
The nails have colour. Oh, yeah, love the nails.
Colour. But whenever I wear coloured stuff, people always come up to me and they're like, oh, can you help me with this exercise? Or can you help me with this? Or like, you look cute today or whatever. And I'm like, what's going on with the world today? And then I'm like, it's the colour. Because you seem more open. And I feel like...
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, like I feel like you just seem more open. Like people are like, oh, I can talk to her. Because when you're like, it's like the same when you're like kind of reserved and you're like not accepting compliments. Like people won't talk to you. They can feel that, you know? And I feel like people can really feel your energy as well. So it's one of those things where you have to fake your confidence until you feel it.
Yeah.
Like you have to pretend you're confident at first, and then you'll finally embody it. And like one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm not playing pretend anymore now.
Yeah, confidence is a choice. I always say that. Confidence is a choice. And you can choose to even pretend to be confident if you want to be confident. But, you know, you will get that. I think people don't believe me. They're like, oh yeah, if I just pretend I'm confident. Yeah. I'm like, no, but it really does.
It really does. Please, just listen. Please.
Yeah, please.
I definitely feel that because I felt like even when I talk to my clients sometimes now or anyone, I'm like, yeah, you just have to work on your mindset. You have to work on your confidence. You have to work on this. And I'm like, if you told me that a few years ago, I would not believe you. I just thought,
it's so
like,
true.
I was like, me work on my confidence. Like, what's that gonna do? Yeah. You know, that's not gonna change the way I look.
And they're like,
but
no,
it changes the way you see yourself.
I just need to be skinny and then I'll be confident. Yeah, like, that's what you think.
Yeah. But it changes the way you see yourself, and it's so beautiful because you then no longer are chasing a number on the scale or chasing validation. Because for me, even when I lost all the weight, I was even more unconfident. Yeah. Because I was worried about what my body looked like. I was constantly like, oh shit, like I need to lose more, I need more. Like I'm still not confident because I kept it on hold. So were there any moments of relapse where you felt like you were scared of gaining weight? Because that's a big fear for a lot of women.
Yeah, so I think the reason that I started focusing on weight gain in the first place was I had done this crazy deficit to go to Ibiza on holiday.
Love Ibiza.
Post COVID, didn't even go to any clubs. It wasn't even anything open, but you know, I know, rubbish. What was the point? So I'd done this like deficit, and then I come back from being away, and like even though I had done this like timed what I'd planned to do, I was like, I'm gonna go back into a deficit again. And now I'm like, why did I do that? Like I was done. Like I had done everything. I'd lost this weight, but I just
got your goal. Yeah,
I just couldn't process having any other goals, and I just kept losing weight for like another 6 weeks. And then I just had this day where I looked in the mirror and I was like, I have no bum. Like it's gone concave. My bum has been sucked back inside itself. It's gone concave. I was like, what is happening? And I remember like looking at myself and just thinking I saw that dull grey version of me again, that version of me that I saw when I was at uni. And I was like, oh, but I'm so much thinner, like I'm so much lighter, I can wear the clothes that I thought I always wanted to wear, like, but why do I still look like this dull grey version? And I thought, oh, probably because I'm scared to eat fruit because there was too many calories in it.
Oh,
probably
God.
because all the food I'm eating is processed because I'm so obsessed with chocolate, I want to try and squeeze it in wherever I can. Probably because all the protein I'm getting is from clear whey. Like, these are probably all the reasons why I'm so dull and grey.
Yeah.
And I remember at that moment feeling so disappointed in myself that I was still the same.
Yeah.
I'm still the same in my head, even though I can see different on the outside. You know, my hair was thinning, my nails were brittle, like, and I was hungry all the time, and I was just pretending that I wasn't. And I was slowly slipping back into that same cycle of restricting all week, and then the weekend would come around, and I'd have a Chinese, and I'd go on a night out, and I'd do all of that, and I was like, actually, what I am doing is just another masked version of what I was doing before, and I'm just thinner.
Yeah.
But I'm still the same, and like that was for me was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
that realization that nothing had actually really changed was really upsetting, because I remember thinking, oh, now what have I done? I wasted all of this time. But you never lose. I always say this, you never lose, you win or you learn.
Yeah, you learn.
And I learned.
100%,
And I learned, you know.
You've learned so much.
I learned so
and
much.
And they brought you here.
Yeah, and here I am.
You're not just on my podcast. not everything leads to my podcast.
No, everything has led to this podcast, guys. This moment in time. In Bali,
to be honest, in Bali, like, you're a month in.
Bali.
No, like, yeah, it was meant to be. I feel like in
Yeah.
Bali, everything happens for a reason.
So true.
But I completely get that. I feel like it's such a big fear of gaining weight, and almost like when you're in a calorie deficit, you get to your goal weight, you're like, shit, I can't ever gain another pound from here now. Like, you're kind of like, shit, I'm like really scared of like changing from here.
Yeah.
So what mindset shift helped you get rid of that fear of weight gain?
I think that I was in that moment in time where I kind of had this realization that I was actually just still stuck in another version of the same cycles again. Somehow I'd done all of this work, and then I would just sort of loop back on myself. And that's why they would say progress is never linear. Like, even though physically I might have looked like I've made all this progress, mentally I'd just gone back. I'd reversed. I think that for me was so almost shocking that I didn't really struggle with gaining weight. I was so like, this needs to happen, then this needs to happen now. I got a coach. I stopped weighing myself for an extended period of time, so I think that probably really helped a lot. Yeah. She was like, get rid of your scales. And I was like, what do you mean? I love them. They're my best friend. I love weighing myself. Please let me keep them. And she was like, put your scales away. And I didn't weigh myself for, I think, like 3 or 4 months, as we just did a big reverse diet and like started eating more food. And then I became so obsessed with how fun eating is, and how much I was loving eating food, and how much energy I had, and how my sex drive was better, and how my hair was thicker. I was like, I'm never going back. I am never going back. And that was that for me.
I think it's beautiful when you kind of realize, shit, like, I was so undernourished. Because when you're undernourished and when you're in that point, you don't realize it. No. When you're like in that grey area, you don't realize it. Like, you're just like, I had the same. I had no period. I had no sex drive. I had no energy. I was moody. I was not talking to anyone. Like, nothing. And I was just like, this is me. This is just who I am. Yeah. And then when I started eating again, I was like, oh wait, I am a bubbly person. I am fun, you know. I am nice. Like, even when I was talking monotone. Like, I was because I kind of, you're the same. Like, I use my hands a lot. Like, I was like this, like talking to people, because my body had no energy, no calories, no energy. I was just there like a zombie talking to them like that. And I was like, this can't be, this is not me.
Yeah, this can't be right. But you don't realise, because you're this is the new normal, right? So you just think that's who you are. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, I'm not actually a horrible person. I'm not a horrible person. I'm just hungry.
I'm just starving and I didn't know. Yeah, it was the same for me, like the mindset shift, when I finally saw that shit, like this weight gain is there for a reason. Yeah. And like me eating enough calories and eating good amount of food, I'm like, wow, like I feel amazing. Like that was one thing where I was like, I can't go back to now feeling like that again and being moody and like my hair falling out and literally like doing the most stupid stuff ever. But yeah, that's amazing, because I literally had the same thing.
It's not your dream body if it's a nightmare to maintain.
We're dropping the quotes today.
It's like I've read some quotes before I've come here, and I've just thought, how many of these can I get?
It's like you've gone on Pinterest. You're like, what can I say?
Too much time in my hands, guys.
So going into your life now, like, you're obviously posting amazing content online. You're empowering so many women. I feel like it's so refreshing to see people sharing a regular body. Yes. Because it's always, I feel like fitness is always shown with a athletic, really lean women, which there are women out there that they can maintain that physique, and it's amazing for them. Like, but there are women like us as well that, for me, being a size 6 was not healthy. Like, that's when I lost my period. Like, having a flat stomach and abs like all year round was not a thing for me. Yeah. And I feel like women don't think that that's a thing. They think, oh, like I just have to look like that because I'm a gym girl. So I think seeing a bit of like diversity and seeing you now like glowing and overcoming all of these things is amazing. So
Thank
my
you.
question to you is, how do you feel about your body now, and how is it different from before?
So I said this last week. I was on a transformation retreat last week with like yoga,
amazing.
breath work, all sorts.
I really want
And
to do one too.
highly recommend, although I do feel like it kind of cracked me apart as a human being. I've never cried so
Yeah,
much in my life.
I don't think I wanted to try that.
It was a lot. I'm like,
It's like people keep telling me you should go therapy, and I'm like, I don't think I want to know my traumas. I'm
Yeah.
good.
I buried those. And I was saying to people, I was like, this is the most confident I've ever felt in my life.
That's amazing.
Like, and I think that, you know, even recently I've been struggling a lot with digestive issues. I've been having a lot of issues with bloating. I'm really bloated now after the IV drip and everything yesterday.
She had barley belly.
I had barley belly, guys. It's not nice. I even with all of that, like I literally got my clothes on today and I thought, oh, I'm so bloated, but like she's cute. Like it just doesn't matter. And I think that I have really detached myself with my body being so worth so much to me. And like I think that it's so important to know, like, you can still have physical goals, you can still train. Like I still would like to grow my glutes, I still want to do all of these different things, but I am so grateful for my body every day for all of the things that it does for me. And like I think it's so cool, like this is so cool, like you literally take care of me all the time. And like what's it gonna do for me if I just treat you like crap?
Yeah.
You know, I think
if I'm putting you apart because you're bloated.
Yeah, what's that about? Like what is that about? What a waste of my precious time on this earth to pick myself apart. And I think that so now no matter where I'm at, no matter what my goals are, I'm just really grateful for a healthy working body that just takes care of me. And I think that gratitude is so important. We spend so much time chasing the next thing. Yeah. And like I said, it's fine. Like, it's fine if you have things that you want to work on, but you have to be grateful for where you're at now. There's they always, like, when people talk about manifesting, this might be a bit weirdy woo, but I love it manifesting.
I love manifesting.
People always say you can't ask more if you're not grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
Can't be asking the universe to give you any more. You can't be asking for more progress. You can't be asking for bigger glutes if you're not really grateful for where you're already at. And I think that's really
beautiful.
important.
Yeah, that's such a nice quote. I've never actually heard that one before, so I'm gonna keep that in my notes.
When you manifest, you should always say, "I'm so grateful for all the things I already have." Yeah. And then if you want to ask for more, if you want to look for more in your life, then that's when you ask for it.
And I feel like that, like, manifestation actually kind of works with your fitness journey as well, because I feel like it's never, like, actually this is the first time I'm talking about that. Like, I've never actually heard that manifestation and fitness journey. It's the first time I'm saying it out loud, but I don't think I've ever seen a post or anything like that on it until you mentioned it now. And it like just clicked in my head that when you're manifesting, when you're coming from a place of gratitude, that's how you treat your body. Yeah. And that's the progress you see. Because your body is a reflection of your habits. Yeah, you know? Absolutely. The way you feel, that's the way you feel, the way you carry yourself is how your body will react. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, for me, when I was the most stressed in the way I looked, the way I felt, like I was really chasing that skinny body, that was when I was my most unhealthy. I was so ungrateful for my body. And it was just like things kept happening to me. Like, I kept binge eating, I kept eating an entire pack of whatever. And I was like, why is this happening? Because I'm trying to lose weight. Like, I really want that. And it's almost as well, the more you lose focus of that, I want that perfect body, the more you kind of just are grateful and doing things out of love. Yeah. The more you get towards that body goal easier. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Every choice that you make has to come from a place of love. Yeah. Like, you can't, like, hate yourself into a version of you that you love. Like, you can't hate yourself into self-love. It doesn't work. Another quote. You can't hate yourself happy, guys. I love that. Maybe I should release sort of a quotes book or something. Yeah, like, I don't know. Quotes of Molly Over Fit. Yeah. I'm going to start a new page. Quotes. I'm going to start a new Instagram. You know how they have like Ron Writings? I love his page. Yeah. Like, he's like writing like little things. You should just do one of those and like just have quotes about your body. Maybe. Or like a book about my body. Yeah, like positive quotes for your body. Okay, amazing. And how has your energy, confidence, and mindset changed? I feel like I'm a whole new person. I really am a whole new person. Like, that lovely trend where it's like, if I met my younger self for coffee. Oh, I love that trend. I loved that trend. And it really made me think, like, what would she think if she saw me? I think she'd be gobsmacked. Like, I actually think she'd be gobsmacked. Like, I have so much excitement and joy and creativity. Like, I lost so much of that for so long when I was consumed with what I looked like or what I was chasing.
And, you know, I love writing poetry, and I just stopped doing that for years, and now I write poetry again. Or, you know, I used to journal and I stopped journaling, and now I journal again. And, you know, and I create and I make space and time for me, like, and I can reclaim that selfishness. And I think that that's so important, and that's something that I love to do for me. And I love to move my body, and I love to take care of myself. And my addiction now is to be the best, healthiest, happiest version of myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
How amazing is that? Like, going from trying, like, literally, I always, like, now that I feel like even this podcast, like, people will notice the energy change and how you probably talked about at the beginning about the grey days.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like now you're lit up and you're like, I'm so happy that I'm here. I'm so happy that I'm living this life and I have this life now, which is so amazing. Because, like, whenever I talk about my past, I'm like, it just seems like a grey cloud.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel it.
it's
You
so
feel it in your
weird.
heart,
Yeah.
don't you? Because I think it's almost like I feel so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel so sorry. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I feel so sorry for that version of me, because
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I did you so wrong. I feel like I did you so wrong, but like, all you can do is learn from it, and like all you can do is try and help other people to not make those mistakes that you made. Like, you know, if I could tell myself, like, if you just do these things, then you'll be, you know, years ahead. Like, I would be like, heck yeah, like, I wish someone was there.
Please.
Yeah, keep them coming,
speed
guys.
up.
Yeah,
Time lapse it. Okay, and what does loving your body actually mean to you now?
Oh my gosh, loving my body. I think loving my body is more than anything like taking care of myself and meeting myself where I'm at. Like, so many people have these constant expectations of themselves, but they very rarely like take a breath to actually think about how they feel. So if I, for example, have goals that are here, but I'm here, I have to bring those goals down to meet me.
Yeah.
That for me is like the real sign of self-love, because the old version of me, no matter how she felt, would go out for a fasted walk in the morning, or, you know, skip a breakfast, or do all of these things that was essentially like bullying myself.
Literally.
And now I wake up and I meet myself where I'm at every day. I know. And I think that's really what self-love is. Like, it's not always the screaming at yourself in the mirror about how much you love yourself, and all of those things are really, really important. But I really think that loving yourself is just listening to what your body needs and honouring it, regardless of what that is. If you need to rest, rest. If you want to go and run a 10K, run a 10K. But, like, actually just listen to yourself. Like, even if someone asks you a question, for example, like, do you want this piece of cake? Just take a deep breath. Yeah. Or no. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, honour where you're at. Because so often we make decisions for other people, whereas self-love is about making decisions for you.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think 100%. And I think as well with the self-love and like kind of waking up every day and being like, okay, like, what does my body want today? I think it's so nice, because I feel like we always bully ourselves. Like, if we're not going to the gym because we have like 5 workouts to do this week, but we feel physically tired, we bully ourselves, and our mind is the biggest bully.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like as well with self-love, I don't know if you felt the same, but I almost felt like I couldn't have self-love. I was like, if I love myself, that means I'm a narcissist. That's what I used to believe. Like, that's what I used to believe about being confident as well. I was like, if I'm confident, that means I'm a narcissist. Like, I just saw it as something that was like, I don't know if that came from a place that because I wasn't.
Yeah,
like,
that's really interesting.
Like, I was just like, I can't be confident because that'll make me a mean person.
Yeah.
Like, I might as well just keep bringing myself down and pushing myself down.
I've never heard that before, but I can completely see what you mean. And I think that actually, because a lot of how you feel is like projections.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if someone was really loud and really confident, I not naturally would used to feel very intimidated by them, or be like, oh, like, I don't know if they're going to be my kind of person.
Yeah.
Not because they weren't a nice person, but because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So it's the reflection, you know, it's like someone holding a mirror up to you and being like, you're not confident, so you now feel even less confident because someone in this room is confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see why you'd feel that way.
And like, sometimes I feel like even other people that are not confident and trying to bring people down that are confident, they'll say, oh, they're selfish, they love themselves too much. Like, they think, oh, because I have self-love for myself, it means that I love myself and I don't care about anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I used to, like, that's what I grew up hearing a lot as well.
Yeah.
Like, people be like, oh, they're so confident, so up their ass.
Stay humble.
Yeah, like, stay humble, don't love yourself, you know? Like, it's like a trend, like,
don't love yourself too much.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
God forbid.
God forbid that. Okay, amazing. And I feel like everyone on this podcast would love to hear some advice from you and your journey. So what would you say to the girl that was still stuck in that diet culture mentality?
Oh, do you know what? It's so hard because there's so much that I would want to say. But I think more than anything, I just would say take it slow. Like, I think we're in a rush. We're always in a rush. I think that's definitely been a recurring theme today, talking about the pressure of how quickly you want things to change or how quickly you want things to happen. But like, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Like, the length of the journey is not a problem, you know, but the way that you get there, that's the important part.
Yeah.
So yeah, just slow down. Like, guys, slow down. Like, if you are someone who genuinely is like chasing this next version of themselves, like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But like, if it doesn't happen in 3 weeks or 6 weeks or even flipping 2 years, that also doesn't matter, because the journey and the process itself is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You are going to learn so much about yourself, so much about your life. You're going to pick up so many little habits and things that you're not grateful for in the moment, but you'll look down the line and think, that's so cool that I did that, or that's so amazing that I did that. So stop and smell the flowers around you.
Yeah.
You know, just take your time with things and don't see that as a negative.
Yeah. I think that's the best advice you could give to someone that's still stuck in that diet culture.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could go back to your younger self, talking about the younger self trend,
Yes.
what would you say to her?
I just give her a big hug. I actually would just give her a big hug. And just like, I'd just tell her that things get better. I know that's a bit cliche, and I'm sure that's probably what everybody would say. But, you know, I think I was so sad and so low. And I really, at points, was like, how am I ever going to feel normal again? And I think I just remind her that, like, I'm still in there. Like, I'm still in there screaming to get out. But, like, you need to create space to let me out.
Yeah. Amazing. And lastly, so what helped you keep going on the hard days?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that over time, it really just became the fact that I love this lifestyle. And even on the days where I'm like, I love it a little bit less, I am really aware of how good it makes me feel to take care of myself and to meet myself where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I think initially at the start, the thing that kind of helped me make the shift and kind of keep putting one foot in front of the other was just for like becoming obsessed with being stronger and more powerful, you know, and really just finding, like, you know, even little things like if you go to the gym, like, log your weights.
Yeah.
Like, I used to not log my weights properly, and then when I started eating more and logging my weights, I was like, I'm so strong.
Yeah.
I'm so strong, and that made me feel so empowered and so like cool.
Yeah.
And I think that was for me the driving force of like seeing the change come through and like feeling empowered by that rather than feeling fearful of it.
Yeah, I completely get that. And I think it was one of those things as well, like for me, I kept going to the gym and I'll just do whatever weight. I'll be like, oh, like, what do I feel today? Like 20 kilos. Just kind of do it like that, like a little flower, like just bouncing around. So I think it's so nice when you change your mindset and you kind of like, shit, like, I'm so strong, I'm so amazing.
Unlock the potential.
Yeah.
Actually push yourself.
Yeah, because we literally have so much potential in us, and I feel like we're always told, don't go big, you know, like, don't do this, don't get too bulky, don't train too hard, you might get too muscly, and there's like, we become fearless of unlocking our potential.
Yeah. And then you say to those people, how about you don't tell me what to do?
Yeah, exactly. Any last things you want to say to the listeners?
Oh my gosh, well, firstly, thanks so much for having me. This is crazy. I hope I did you proud.
You did me proud. I feel like we've been here like almost an hour now.
Really?
Yeah, we've been recording for like probably 50 minutes.
Wow.
I feel like it's gone so quick.
That's insane. Yeah, I've loved this. But I think to anybody listening, like wherever you're at, if you can just do one thing for me tomorrow morning, it's to wake up and meet yourself where you're at.
That's beautiful.
Just write it down. Where am I at today? Give yourself, even if you just think of, 3 key words.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one feeling, just work out where you're at and meet yourself there and see how that feels.
I'm actually going to journal that tomorrow. When I'm going to wake up, I'm going to write, where am I at? And I'm going to put a question mark and just journal on that.
Yeah, where am I at?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on this podcast.
It's my pleasure.
I loved having you on here. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys found this podcast helpful. Like, I'm sure you did. Like, I've learned so much. And I feel like listening to your stories amazing and empowering.
Thank you.
You can find Molly at Molly Ava Fit.
It's Molly Ava Fit on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Amazing. I'll put her links in the show notes as well, so you can connect with her. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Thanks,
See you in the
guys.
next episode.
Bye.